Now it's time to get to our awesome guest. 11-time All-Star member, 2-time champion, newest selection to the Basketball Hall of Fame. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram, the same name, at Chris Bosh, now an author. I mean, this man is writing books. He was dunking basketballs, hitting you with low post moves. Now he's writing books. His book is called Letters to a Young Athlete, is available now. Make sure you go out and get a copy. I definitely will. I know Pat P will as well. We're going to go out and support this outstanding gentleman. Chris Bosh is joining us here. All things covered. First and foremost, Chris, how you doing?
Man, look, I'm doing good, man. If I complain, nobody would care or even listen to me, but I've got nothing to complain about, man. Everything is great. We are almost to the summer. Virtual school is almost wrapped. I can't wait.
No doubt. And that virtual school really tests your patience as a parent.
No doubt about it.
You see exactly where you are.
Look, my son was doing long division and running into problems last week, and we're doing homework and I'm trying to help him. It's stuff I forgot. You know what I mean? Like I haven't. When's the last time you did third grade math? So. Right. It's all good, though. I can't complain, man. I can't complain.
No doubt. No doubt.
We definitely all been there before, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, first things first, Chris, with you, considering how your career came to an abrupt end, where you had real good years left of playing at a high level in the NBA, what is the feeling of knowing you're being validated with a Hall of Fame selection, even though your time in the NBA was cut short?
It's crazy. I mean, that was always my intention. Anytime I went out to play a game, to practice, I was always pushing myself for greatness, and I kind of got into a situation to where I wanted to play more, but it wasn't possible, kind of like you were alluding to, in my days having to be cut short. One of the things I realized in this whole process is that you have to make do with what you have. I automatically start thinking about those days where, you didn't feel like it, or, I don't want to watch film, or just those tough days on the road on a Tuesday night in Milwaukee against the Greek Freak trying to, get out of game when you're not feeling well. Right. I'm so glad that I didn't cut any corners, because so one day it might just be over one day. And, just to be recognized in that kind of fashion, it's crazy, man. I was sitting at a table with Bill Russell and Chris Webber and Kevin Garnett talking about basketball. And, we're all going in the Hall of Fame together. It's just crazy to aspire to be something, and then it actually happens. It's an amazing feeling.
Hey, man, Chris, real quick, Chris, before getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, I know you've been, kind of understanding and seeing what's been happening in the sports world. We just saw Tim Tebow. He was away from the game for about 6-7 years, if I'm not mistaken. And now he's getting an unexpected tryout where he just signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So before getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, did you ever think about, I don't know exactly where you are health-wise, but did you ever think about trying to give it another shot?
So immediately after, I guess I was done playing, I was still trying to get back into the league for the next 2 years. Of course, my situation was very complicated because it was involving pulmonary embolisms and blood clots. But 2 years after I was, I guess after I played my last game, I was still working out every day. I was still on the phone, calling GMs, calling coaches, just really seeing what opportunities were out there. It was just in my situation, it was medical. And, when you're dealing with medical things you can't see, it gets real tricky. And and after a while, I don't know. Do you guys remember when, golly, his name is slipping my head. I saw this pretty much my first time watching basketball in a year while I was trying to get into it. I saw a dislocated ankle. You know what I mean? So that kind of took the wind out my sail a little bit, and I didn't have as much fire going back into my workouts. So
Gordon Hayward, was it
Gordon Hayward? It was when Gordon Hayward dislocated his ankle. This is 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, let me get back into the game. I haven't watched the game in a year. I just been working out. I'm getting back in. 5 minutes into the new season, I see a dislocated ankle, and you know, whatever fire I had.
Wow.
Yeah. the water went over that sucker, man.
Man, what? It's like, yeah, that could be you. And you know how hard it is getting back in shape. You guys know better than anybody, you know, and especially if you're not working and playing games, you can practice all you want, but unless you're in those game speed situations, it's not the same.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So what inspired you to share all those stories in your newly book, Letters to the Young Athlete?
You know what, really, it was just my journey. You know, speaking on the unexpected you know, retirement that I had to deal with. One of my challenges was figuring out what am I going to do? You know, after my playing days, you know, we always talk about those things, but this came a little bit quicker for me. You know, so I found myself pretty much reflecting on, you know, the coaches, my teammates, all those who helped me get to the point that I'm at now. You know, you always hear about if you're lucky enough to talk to an old timer or a retired athlete, they'll always tell you, man, I miss those bus rides.
Oh yeah.
I miss the camaraderie. You know, the same thing happened to me, but in my reflection, I was so happy just to be able to look back on those days and feel good about it, to be happy about it. And, you know, to reach out to that coach back in Dallas that gave me a ride home because I wanted to stay and get more shots up. You know, and he fed me on the way. We stop and get a bite to eat, and then he'd take me home. You know, those were the major things I was thinking about. I wasn't really thinking about all the accolades. I wasn't thinking about, which they're nice. Don't get me wrong. They're great. Yeah. But I wasn't thinking about those things. I was just thinking about the whole entire journey of my basketball career, those who helped me, and really just getting over those challenges, man. Just, you know, seeing something and going after something that people thought and said were impossible, and then actually doing that, but doing that through teamwork and other people helping me out, man. It's been tremendous.
Chris, let's tap in briefly into your new book, Letters to a Young Athlete. I will read it. I'm pretty sure our listeners and our viewers will read it as well and support you. But give us a brief summary about what we can expect when we dive into this book. What could we learn? You know, what could we find out? And what were you trying to get accomplished and finalize in this book?
I think the main thing that I was trying to get accomplished was to speak to those people that are trying to do something great. You know, to speak to those people that have a bunch of different obstacles ahead of them, to let them know, to say, okay, if this is what you want to do, you got to go after it. And even if you don't have something, this is what you could possibly do to find it. Yeah. You know, I found that I was in a situation where I had to find out what I love doing, and writing eventually became one of those things. Before, it was all basketball. I didn't do anything else. I had a couple hobbies. I had things I love, but to get to that level, you can't afford to do anything else. You can't afford to do anything else. I'm trying to be elite, you know? And so all of my time and energy went into that. But this is kind of like a crash course in the reverse engineering of what helped make me successful. So like I was alluding to earlier, talking to those coaches, what they told me, examples that I've learned from people that I admire. And really it's the stories that at those do or die moments, you know, at that moment of truth, when you can decide to keep going after it or give up. This is what was going through my mind, and this is how I was able to break those things down and get over them. And this is what happened as a result. You know, I'm really just kind of breaking those things down, breaking those stories down, and kind of bringing people, I guess, along my career to a certain extent. It does embody everything with basketball, but I want everybody to be able to look at this and take something for themselves, whether you're in the mailroom, whether you're a sous chef, whether you're a line chef, whether you're, you know, that first-year rookie football player, or if you're a redshirt volleyball player in the middle of America, I want everybody to be able to take something from it and aspire to be great, take it for themselves, and then put it into action.
Cool.
And so what gave you stand on the book? Like you said, you always wanted to find something to do. Like, who gave you the idea though to to even write a book? So you see a lot of athletes, you see a lot of people, diving into that, but who gave you the motivation to really do it?
Man, so one of the exercises that I did was every morning. I had already been kind of like a writer. I had never thought much about it. I just did it because I always do it. It was one of those things since I was a kid. Okay. And so I found myself writing every morning. I don't know if you've heard, it's this book called The Artist's Way.
Nah.
Okay. If you ever get some free time, check it out.
Artist's Way.
The Artist's Way. And so J. Cole actually recommended that book to me.
Really?
So I went to go see him, and I was already kind of in the practice of doing stuff. And we had this conversation, and he recommended the book to me. So then, fast forward a couple of weeks, I'm pretty much taking my son to school every morning, and I found myself just in my office trying to figure something out. So I would write. They have this thing called morning pages where, it's a challenge for you to write 3 pages without thinking every day. And so I found myself doing that every day, and then it got tiring and it was hard, but I stuck with it. And I found myself it's a trip when you see what you're writing, what you're thinking, and you're putting it on paper and you're reading it as you're writing. I really found that I didn't like what was coming out. It was pretty negative. Things weren't really where I wanted it to be. I'm fresh out the game, and then I found myself, just saying like, okay, let me put a different spin on this because I'm aware of what's going on. So I just found myself, writing and reflecting back on those bus rides, back in the day, it took me pretty much to being a kid again on that concrete court back in Hutchins, Texas, trying to aspire to be something, wow. So that's kind of the mode that it put me in. Then I started thinking, about a bunch of stuff and just writing about it all. And then one day, because everybody always says, oh man, you should write a book. Because it happens sometimes, but to actually have like a solid idea and to know the direction that I wanted to go, it was a really, really good feeling.
Wow. Well, shout out to J. Cole, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, J. Cole,
shout out to J. Cole. Speaking of J. Cole, what you think of his latest album? He just dropped.
Oh man. It's great, man. He's one of the things that I've learned about, artists and their work is like, it's going to take a long time to really dissect it and break it down.
Right.
Immediately listen to it. Great. Phenomenal. But it's a bunch of stuff that went over my head.
Yeah,
I think it went over all our heads, right? You know what I mean?
Man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep listening. It's very dense. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to listen to that over and over.
You got to. You got to have listening parties by yourself, so you don't have anybody taking your ear attention away. You got to just sit back and just, when rappers like J. Cole, you got to listen.
You got to listen.
Because you might miss something that could be so influential to you, or he could be talking to you or talking about something that you've been through. So no doubt about it. And these are the candid conversations I love having on All Things Covered, being able to showcase a part of you that most people might not know. Right. You know what I mean? The writer. You know what I mean? The producer.
There's a
lot that Chris Bosh is doing that many of you don't know, because all you think about is the basketball. Granted, like he said, when he was playing basketball, that's all he wanted to do because he wanted to be elite. But Chris is doing a whole lot of different things, and we will tap into some of the other outstanding achievements he's involved in a little later in the show. But let's transition to the basketball Chris Bosh, right? Growing up in Texas, Dallas, a Texas kid playing 1 year in Atlanta at Georgia Tech. What was the biggest culture shock moment for you getting drafted to Toronto, playing for the Raptors?
Man, just getting there. In college, we're in a system, right? We're like in this controlled, chaotic system. Like you're living on your own, but you're really not. The campus you're still being watched to a certain extent. One of the things I struggled with was just being in an NBA locker room. You know, I'm in there, and Anthony Davis and Jerome Williams and Vince Carter and Alvin Williams, those are the vets. You know, they're, you know, when you're 19 years old, 28 is old.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, these guys are like 30 something years old with families and, you know, those were one of the things that I struggled with right off the rip, because after practice, everybody goes home.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you have to get in your work differently. Nobody's really there to tell you, you know, to do something, or you don't have that ingrained roommate to just be
on
stuck.
You,
you know what I mean? Just be stuck with her, that person to look out for you. You know, you kind of get into a situation where you're literally thrown in the frying pan. And for me, I had never really seen a real winter. So, man, coming from Texas to Toronto, brother, boy, I thought, you know, and when you're that age, you think you know it all. So I said, oh, yeah, I've seen snow before. And I remember I would just sit in my apartment and just watch the snowfall. Like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way we're playing tomorrow, you know?
No question.
Everything goes on. And, you know, it's a different way of life. And, you know, really just like trying to work out a way to be social and figure out how to be a young player in the NBA. You know, it sounds cool, which it is, but man, it's really tough when you're, you know, flying in after one game at home for back-to-back, and then you're flying into Indiana and you're getting in Indiana at 2:30 in the morning and it's 5 below zero. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can't really prepare for those times. So that was really, really the culture shock for me. And on top of, you know, trying to function and being in a different country, like it's a different country, you know, it's different. I'm meeting different people, different friends. It's kilometers per hour instead of miles. I don't even know how fast I'm going. You know what I mean?
That's crazy, man.
It was just, you know, it was different.
So how would you, I got a 2-part question for you, Chris. First one, how would you describe your time in Toronto? And 2, were you excited to see those guys win the championship when that was 19, if I'm not mistaken?
I was 19. Yeah, when I got there. Oh, the year?
You know, the year they won the championship. Like,
when it was 2 years ago, right? That was 2 years ago.
19, right?
Damn, was that 19 already, bro?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
It was 19.
Oh, man. That don't seem like 2 years. Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, I mean, when I first got there, everybody was so nice to me. Everybody took me in with open arms, man. I mean, it's just been a great organization. You know, the people are great. The fans are great. And I was very, very happy to see them win. I mean, you know, I know how hard it is to get to the finals. Just get there. I ain't talk about winning. I'm not talking about winning. Just getting there. You know, that's hard enough. But to actually win one and be successful. And, you know, I got to be in a position where I was covering the finals for some Canadian TV.
Nice.
So I was at every game. I went to every game. And just to see like old friends and old acquaintances with the team, running the team, you know, the trainers, the executives, the ball boys, the ball girls, to see that excitement, you know, for the city to have that excitement and then to actually win. I mean, I'm so happy for him. It was it was great. A lot of people would have told you that was impossible back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to watch them get to that level as an organization has been great.
Yeah.
So is Superfan the Spike Lee of the Toronto Raptors?
My man, Nav. Yeah, you know Nav. Do you know Nav?
No, I don't.
So he just went into the Hall of Fame as well.
I saw that.
Actually,
I saw that.
He has an exhibition in the Hall of Fame. My man Nav. When I tell you this man went to every game, and I'm not talking about just recently. I'm talking about back before me.
Yeah.
But, you know, and during the time I was playing, this man was at every game, like every game, man. And, you know, just to see him and his family, how much they've given to the Raptors, the city of Toronto, but to basketball, how much he loves basketball. And like, you know, just being himself, man. This is a dude sitting courtside with a turban. You know what I mean? Like,
With a jersey on.
A lot of people,
with a jersey.
You know what I mean? With a jersey, like,
Yep.
and he made it cool. Like he made it something to follow. And there's just something so great about that. You know, the fact that he stayed himself. He told a story how, no, I told my mom I was not going to take my turban off. I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna do what I do. Mm-hmm. And just to see someone achieve greatness in their own way, doing it by being themselves. I mean, it's been great.
Yeah.
So, Chris, before you played in the NBA Finals, you had an opportunity in 2008, I think it was, to play an Olympic gold medal game versus Spain. What stands out to you about that moment, and specifically Kobe Bryant's fourth quarter performance?
What I remember specifically is being grateful that we had Kobe. We had been playing Spain very competitively over the years. I had two teammates on that team. Mm-hmm. Very, very good team. One of the best teams this world has ever seen on the international level, but those guys could play basketball, man. And they wanted to win, and they were spirited. And I remember being in that game and thinking like, man, this is close. There was a lot of pressure on us to win because of the disappointment in 2004.
Yep.
Right.
And, to get in that single elimination, I felt like you guys for a minute. You get in the playoffs. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but it's a close game right now.
Right.
Like, those guys could play. Man, it's only one game. So I remember feeling that pressure, but just being happy that we had Kobe Bean, man. He's always been one of the ultimate competitors, and to watch what he did, and I mean, he never. If he was nervous or excited or whatever, you couldn't tell. Mm-hmm. He brought the same intensity every game, and he pulls through every single time, but just to be his teammate just for a little bit and share that greatness and just try to soak up a little bit as much as I can. It was just a great time, and I'm glad we had him, but very glad as well we were able to rise to the occasion and get a gold medal.
Was he talking trash? Because Kobe, I think he was fluent in Spanish, and he had 13 points in the fourth quarter. US won 117 to 108. But when he was in that fourth quarter, basically in Mamba mode, was he talking trash, or was he just being a silent killer out there?
Silent killer. Silent killer, man. The Mamba. You don't know when the Mamba's coming. It's just shoot. That's it, bro. If Kobe is talking to you, right, it's probably too late.
Good point. Yeah.
Great point.
Man, yeah.
So obviously we know you guys, LeBron and Dwyane Wade teamed up in Miami. But what was your reaction? Is there any backstory? Did you have any idea LeBron was gonna pick Miami, and what was your reaction?
Did you already know?
You didn't? Yeah. What was your reactions when you saw King James announce his decision, his destination on the TV special, The Decision?
Did I know? Yeah, but you really never know.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you hope. I hope that's a better word. I was hoping. Because you never know. I'm not, talking to him every day at that point in time. And I know how I was feeling in my situations, trying to make my decisions, no pun intended. But yeah, man, I mean, pretty much I was at Mr. Chow. I was at Mr. Chow, chilling. We watched The Decision, and yeah, it was good time. Not so much for people outside of Miami.
Right.
But, I just remember, I mean, come on, you guys have been to Miami, you don't need an excuse. There you go.
Bosh, when you and Bron signed, everything was inflated. Hotel prices,
everything,
club prices, the table prices went up. I mean, the locals, we were happy. I mean, the locals were happy. I'm a Laker fan, so I can care less. But the locals were happy. But then it's like, hey, man, we come to the club, man, the table be this price. Now y'all gonna inflate the price. Right. Everything was inflated.
2000 before LeBron got this 5.
Bro, that's a funny thing. If you're really from Miami, it's like, wait a minute, hey, this is not supposed to be like this, man. Right. But just kind of it kind of created this bubble. We were in this bubble, and in Miami, South Florida, period. Yeah. You don't need much of an excuse to have a good time.
Right.
So
no question.
It was just a really good time. We kind of wrote checks for ourselves that we had to cash later.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But all in all, man, I look back on it as a great time. I guess it was more relief of saying, oh, okay, yeah, this crazy idea that could possibly happen. All right, cool. It's happened now. Mm-hmm. We just had to eventually get to a point where we were like, all right, we got to play ball now, and we got to figure this stuff out. And oh yeah, a lot of people didn't really like that stuff that we said, or the organization organizing this great, I guess, parade. People didn't like that one, but it's a part of the story, and I love it.
Yeah. And when you guys signed 3 great players, 3 future Hall of Famers came together for an organization that was, trying to become relevant all over again. Pat Riley at the helm, Eric Spoelstra. Did you guys reach the expectations you set for yourself? In 4 years, you made it to 4 finals, 1, 2, you lost 2. When you look at the big 3 and how it played out, did you guys reach your expectations?
Yes. The goal was to win the goal was to win as many as possible, right? Would I have loved to be mentioned with Kobe and Shaq and MJ and Scotty and MJ and Scotty for the three-peat? That was the goal. I learned an appreciation of how hard it is to really do that stuff, how hard it is to win 2 in a row, let 3, but just how hard the process is, man. I mean, just everybody had all the expectations. And one time, I remember someone asking me, I was doing some show, and they asked me, do you think you guys underachieved? I said, well, you have to think about it. What does that even mean? Are you saying that do we fall short of what's only been done by 2 other teams in the history of the game, of the NBA? Yeah, okay, sure. We got back-to-back. We went to 4 finals in a row. Not many teams did 4 finals in a row. I'm more of a winning guy. Back-to-back, there was only a handful of teams, and there has only been a handful of teams. So, I would have liked to see us stick together longer. Of course, I think we'll always be playing those what-if games. Man, what if they would have stayed together 2 or 3 more seasons? That was going to be my next question.
If you guys, let's say you talked about Scotty and Jordan.
Yeah.
They played together a long time. Let's say you guys were able to play another 4 years together, another 6 years. Realistically speaking, if you guys stayed together in Miami, you healthy, you don't have the injury, you know what I mean? Wade is there. You got Wade County and you got King James. If you guys stayed together in Miami another 4, 5, 6 years, hypothetically speaking, how many championships you thinking?
I think we could have got one more for sure. I always have fun playing this because I still, in the simulations I run in my head, KD still goes to Golden State.
Right.
And they were pretty good.
Okay, so you're answering this question based on what actually happened with the rest of the NBA.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Now,
you
got to think about this too, Mac. In this day and age versus Jordan day and age, it was well documented. Guys wasn't getting paid like that, and you got 3 superstars in this day and age. Not happening.
So I think they still would have put that team together, but I still do think we could have competed. Maybe win one more, maybe, but and maybe compete for 1 or 2 more. We were getting a little older, but I think it would have been possible.
I mean, if you match up with that Warriors team with KD, Curry,
that's probably
Klay
a 4 straight champion. Well, that would have been LeBron, because they played LeBron 3 times, right, in a row?
I think so. Yeah, and that Cleveland team that Bron played the Warriors against clearly was not as good as the team. Yeah. Just you 3 alone. I mean, you got Bosh, Wade. You got yourself, Wade and Bron, and then you make some additions. You had. Don't forget about Ray Allen. Now Ray was older.
You know what I mean? So he probably wouldn't have been there, but you guys didn't have
they had
issue.
an older team though.
Yeah,
they only had the big three. Everybody else was,
But Pat P, they didn't have the issue making additions down there in South.
No, yeah, you're right. No,
that was the goal, right? That was the goal.
Yeah.
That's why I say, okay, I think we could have got one.
Right.
Maybe even two. We would have competed, but like I say, they still. I think KD was still gonna make his decision to go out west, and we all knows what happens when he got out there.
Right. And speaking of KD, you guys played against that young Thunder team in 2012 that featured KD, Russ, and Harden.
Yeah.
Did you think it was almost a lock that those guys would want at least one championship together?
I guess in those moments, you never really think about it because you want them all. I want my team to win them all. So if we're playing these guys, I have confidence in our team. But and I think, kind of the more we get removed, it's like, wow, I can't believe that they weren't able to hold that together, But either way, I saw them getting there. I mean, and even after Harden was traded, KD made his decision to go to Golden State. I still thought like, well, wherever KD goes, that'll pretty much be the favorite that year.
Yeah. Right.
So with his decision to go out there, that kind of made that decision a little easier. But I mean, those OKC teams were great teams. Their fans were a great fan base. And man, they were tough to play, man. I mean, I think they're pretty much that the speed of that final series and the youth of that team. I think that's pretty much definitely had a huge influence on the type of basketball played today.
Yep. Last question for you, Bosh, before we go to the superlative part of the show. Your former teammate, LeBron James, playing with the Lakers, won a championship last year. He's trying to chase another championship. Before his career ends, how many championships do you believe he will have? He currently has 4. We had Shaquille O'Neal on the show. We had Shaquille O'Neal on the show a few months ago, and Shaq said if he gets 6, he believes he should be the GOAT if he gets 6. So right now, we don't foresee LeBron stepping away anytime soon. He currently has 4. How many more championships do you see for LeBron?
Oh boy, it's tough out there, man. Yeah. It is tough. One more. Not to say that he won't win more.
Right.
Were you saying at least one?
Right. More? At least one more. Compete for one more. Just like I say, just get there. That's hard enough. And I think, he will be able. I think they can put another team together, if not this year, in the next 2 years to compete for a championship. So maybe one more. 2 is hard to stretch, but you can never count guys out.
No doubt.
You never know LeBron and what he's thinking. He's thinking, he's thinking winning, Right. So you can never, ever count that out with dealing with him. But I'm excited to see, I just love to see someone trying to aspire to do something very difficult. Yeah. And, he's made a living off his career in trying to do that, so much to the fact where people think it's easy.
Right.
So that's where I think he's at. I think if he can compete for 1 or 2 more, boy, that'll be something else.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay. I know Pat P okay with that. I'm okay with it because we're Laker fans. So you can get us 1 more. Job well done. Job well done.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Hey, so Chris, we know you've handled pressure well throughout your life, especially in the court. So we're going to hit you with some rapid fire questions. We want your unbiased, honest answer. Pat P, you got the first one.
The most, let me see. I'm going to go with this one. Your best night you had and lived.
When we won the championship the first time.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I bet it was.
How much y'all spent on that on bottles?
You remember?
Man, that's just what I was about to tell you. I came and left, bro.
You showed face and got up out of there.
What? If they would have showed me a bill, I would have folded it neatly and stuffed it in the couch and got out of there, man.
Who else was there? Who else was partying with you guys outside of the team? Do you have any celebrities there with you guys that night? You remember?
Man, I can't remember. It was such a blur. That particular night, I can't remember. I just remember going and it just being, the best night ever. And then it's over. It's so quick. and by the time I got there, it's already 3-4 in the morning, which pretty much is like, oh yeah, right, the party is just, you know what I mean? but I can't remember who was there, but I remember.
Hey, that means you had a great night.
We had a great night, man. We went there, us and the family. We went there not as soon as the game was over, but the game was over. A couple hours later, we shot over there and just celebrated the right way.
No doubt.
Yeah.
As champions should. Yeah, I got a good one for you. Good one. Raptors Mount Rushmore.
I'm not gonna put myself on there. I'm not gonna put myself on there.
Okay.
Who you got?
Vince Carter's easy.
No question.
Got to put Kawhi up there.
Only 1 year.
Only 1 year, but boy, what a great
Finals
year.
MVP, brought a championship.
Yeah. Vintage year. When you pop the cork on that year, it's like, that's a vintage year. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
DeMar DeRozan.
Good one.
I don't think he gets his just due.
Yeah.
As a player and what he did for that franchise.
Okay. Last one.
Man, last one you got to put Kyle Lowry up there, I believe.
Okay.
And that's with all due respect from the other guys, because there's other guys like Alvin Williams, Muggsy Bogues, Dale Curry that were playing before him. But when Toronto started getting to that peak, and I think he's got every point guard record in the books now. He's been there for a while, right? I mean, just the work that he's put in for that franchise, for that organization, and for himself and for the league. I mean, it's been great to watch.
I love it. I think that would be the consensus when you look at the top four players.
I think so.
T-Mac only played
this is not me. Yeah, right. And that we didn't get to see. It was still a hope and a dream with T-Mac. People could see it. Then when he got to Houston, when he got to Orlando.
Yeah. When he went
that was some other stuff right there.
Yeah,
then it became what if. But he was he didn't have enough runway, to get on that.
I got you. So now we said that you was a producer early on in our show. What would be your dream hip hop concert lineup? And you only got 5.
5 musicians to perform dream hip hop concert. I like this one.
Ooh, I mean, just 5 people.
Yeah,
five artists.
5 artists to perform.
That's tough, man. I mean, I guess it's not that tough. Gotta have Kanye in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Of course, Jay-Z.
Okay.
I'm gonna give all the classics. I'm gonna go with Drake because he's got like 1 million #1 hits.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, I'll just top it off with my generation, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, man.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's selling out.
Yeah. Minutes, seconds, you know what I mean? And I've gotten to see them all live. I'm like, I'm a bit of a roadie when it comes to shows. I know things are different now, but my wife and I, we would go to shows like, nah, bro, I'm the dude that's driving in and you're gonna be like, yo, Bosh, what up, bro? You know what I mean?
Right.
I was that guy, so
that's cool.
I've got to see them all, perform, and I would definitely pick those guys.
Who's your favorite Texas rapper of all time? Bun B. Yeah. Now UGK, I'm a big time UGK fan.
UGK, for sure.
Man, and the best part about it is that he went from, just something I was listening to my big cousins when I wasn't supposed to be listening to music with cursing in it.
Yeah.
I would listen to his stuff. And then I find that I'm in the league and he's still going, just the longevity that he had of coming, with work consistently year after year. I don't think enough people talk about it.
Nah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, man.
Hey, well, Chris, man, we appreciate you joining us here
all things covered. Patrick Peterson, Brian McFadden. I mean, basketball player, outstanding parent, entrepreneur, author, and hip hop producer. I mean, what's next? Hip hop producer. What's next on the agenda? You're mastering so many different things, but what you got next coming up?
Man, that's a good question, man. I'm just in the weeds studying, just, promoting this book and hopefully trying to get it in as many hands as possible. And then really just being in the moment, man, enjoying these kids and really just trying to continue to like and love things that I'm doing. That's my number one goal. And I think if I do that, and I think if everybody else does that too, good things will happen. So
no doubt.
I'm very confident. I'm hopeful, man.
We wish you nothing but the best in that, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
yes, sir.
man.
For all
Thank
our
you.
listeners and our viewers, man, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Go out and support Chris Bosh. All the Heat fans definitely need to go out and get this book. The Raptor fans, NBA fans, Georgia Tech fans, Dallas, the state of Texas. Everybody go out and support. Let us to a young athlete. If you're a young athlete, you don't have the funds, go tell your guardian, mom, dad. Your grandmas are good for getting gifts. If you tell your grandma to go get a book, she definitely gonna get 2 or 3 books.
Books and book sweaters and collar shirts. Man,
yes,
come on, man.
Yeah, them grandmas definitely gonna go get it. Yes, but thank you for joining us. Anytime you're welcome, come join us anytime, Chris. And let us know where you get that nice coat from. I know it got your name inside.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know.
It got your name in there.
Maybe not this one, but a couple.
Hey, thank you for joining us, man. Definitely, man. Pleasure is all ours, man. Thank you for joining us. All things
Thanks for having
Chris
me, man.
Bosh.
I appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir,
Chris.